This is Barack Lesnar of Barack Lesnar Hoops, and we are going to discuss the games that happened October 20th, 2021, as well as look at some transaction trends and recommend some pickups. So, Steph Curry with the line of the night, 45 points, 8 3-pointers made. Absolutely amazing production. And I hope if you're watching that you consider liking, sharing, subscribing, and I hope you like the new redesign. I thought it was time to step up the production value because you guys deserve the absolute best. Paul George, I told you guys he was one of my favorite sleepers, going at an average pick of around 13. 29 points, 11 rebounds, 6 assists, 1 steal, 3 turnovers, 12 of 23 shooting, 5 3-pointers made. What more could you want from a guy that you could have picked 12 or 13? He has top 5 potential. I'd even go as far as to argue he has top 3 potential if all things go right. John Collins, another one of my sleepers, 16 points, 9 rebounds, 2 blocks, 2 3-pointers made, 7 of 11 shots. That's why I enjoy picking him up. That flexibility to hit threes, to get blocks, to rebound, to get points. I told you guys he was underrated, and so far it's only 2 games in. That sleeper video is aging quite nicely. Eric Bledsoe, surprising everyone with 22 points, had 16 shots. He was somebody I really liked in fantasy basketball. I recommended him heavily last year, and he really stunk with the Pelicans. He has an opportunity with the Clippers. I didn't really recommend him much because of how bad he was last year. I would take a shot at him if you really need a point guard and you believe he can continue this or at least produce enough to make sense on your team. If you're really thin on point guards, I would understand grabbing Eric Bledsoe because with Kawhi Leonard gone, there's a lot of usage to make up. Tyler Hero, 27 points, 4 3-pointers made 10 of his 18 field goals against his hometown Milwaukee Bucks. What a traitor. No, great game from him. It looks like he's going to get significant minutes. The fact he got 18 shots on a pretty loaded team means his role is pretty large, and I think his value with that showing increases significantly. So it might be a sell high moment and you might be able to get a really good player, especially if he strings a few more games like this. Trey Young with 19 points, 14 assists, 5 turnovers, 6 of 16 shooting, made all his free throws. That's about what you can expect from Trey Young. Hopefully he works on getting those turnovers down. Gorgie Dieng, 9.6 rebounds, a steal, 2 blocks, and he's someone who might make sense in a very deep format where you need a big man, especially since we know Clint Capella's dealing with that heel. It makes, if you're in a 16-team or deeper, possibly even a 14-team league. I don't think a 12-team league, we'd have to see him produce significantly. But in the past, when he was on the Minnesota Timberwolves and he got playing time, he put up some really nice fantasy numbers. He can hit threes, as you can see here. He can get blocks, he can get steals. He contributed there across the board. So he's an interesting pickup if you're in a deeper format. Luka Doncic, showing why he was part of my flawed fantasy player videos. It's just the first game of the season, and he's going to have amazing games. But 5 turnovers, only 6 of 17 shooting, the points, rebounds, and assists. The points are much lower than we expect from him. We really want him closer to that 30-point range. But with it being the first game of the season, and he's known in the past to not show up to the season in the best shape. He did just play in the Olympics, so he's probably in better shape than he's been in the past. If you picked him in that top 3, I wouldn't panic trade him or anything like that. This guy's going to put up some exciting stat lines. It's very important that you resist the urge to give up on your studs too quickly. The first few weeks, these guys are just warming up. Around December, January, and then heading into the All-Star break, you see guys starting to hit their stride, and then after the All-Star break, you see a lot of guys take off. And that's right in time for your fantasy basketball championships. So be very careful with trading someone like Luka right away because he had a tough first game by his own standards. All right, Terence Mann, another great sleeper who's very likely to be available. He played a ton of minutes. He did come off the bench, but he had 11 points, 7 rebounds, 3 assists, hit 2 3-pointers. And let's focus on players that I would say are undervalued. So, for example, Deandre Hunter had 11 points, 3 rebounds, a steal, 2 blocks, made 5 of his 11 shots. So we're seeing some nice production from several Atlanta Hawks players. Marcus Morris Sr. got some minutes. He had 10 points, 1 rebound, 2 steals, 1 block, and 2 3-pointers made. Cam Reddish, another Hawk, producing 20 points, 3 rebounds, hit 3 3-pointers, made 7 of his 15 shots and all his free throws. This guy has all the upside and potential in the world. We've seen inconsistent percentages, but if he gets those percentages closer to just even average, can hit threes and maybe get you a good amount of steals, he has upside. I'd probably stick with him in deeper formats right now, but that's just me. Jaylen Brunson, a player I've told you guys is a decent Luka Doncic handcuff and a decent point guard if you're like in a 14 team or deeper. 17 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists, made 3 3-pointers, took 13 field goals and made 7 of them. He's a very efficient scorer. I like him as a low-end point guard, probably my 4th or 5th point guard if I were to have him in a 12-team league, which is more likely to happen if I own Luka Doncic on my team. Deadman on the Miami Heat with 13 points, 9 rebounds, made 5 of his 6 shots, 1 3-pointer made, and he's on the radar as well as a big man in a deep format that could help produce for your team, especially since he hits 3-pointers, he can't score, and on occasion, he can get some blocks.
This is the Legion.
Tyrese Maxey with the whole Ben Simmons situation, we don't know when he'll be returning, so it makes a whole lot of sense to pick him up. He played 34 minutes his last game, and he could be the starting point guard long term there, depending on who they get back for Ben Simmons if they do trade Ben Simmons, which right now the GM said could be a 4-year ordeal. I doubt that's true, but I suppose we shall see. Will Barton played 33 minutes, had 4 3-pointers, 20 points, 5 assists, and he may be the main beneficiary from the Jamal Murray injury. All right, so if he's available in your league, he's only 53% rostered. We've seen him be a very nice fantasy basketball player in the past, and I believe he could still be one. Eric Bledsoe, I know we discussed him already, but very strong game from him. The real question is, can he keep it up? He's only rostered in 38% of leagues, which is a lot more leagues than he was rostered in yesterday. Let's discuss some of the top drops since we really highlighted a lot of the players that performed well. Let's discuss some of the top drops. Actually, no, you know what? There's still more players that we can discuss. Devon Vasel, only 16% rostered, played 25 minutes on a young rebuilding team. I like his upside. I might even consider him in some 12-team leagues if there's a lot of roster spots in that league format. Ideally, you'd keep him in a 14-team league or deeper. Cam Reddish, we discussed him as well. Very strong game. Furkan Korkmaz played 20 minutes against the New Orleans Pelicans, had 22 points, 5 assists, 1 steal, 4 3-pointers made. In a deeper format as well, only 7% rostered. Believe he could seriously help you. A guy I think has the potential to help you in all formats is France Wagner. He played 32 minutes starting for the Orlando Magic, had a steal, 2 blocks, 12 points, shot 66%. Very nice production from him. Very young player on a team that, in my opinion, is focused on development. They're a rebuilding team. They're starting Mo Bamba, and they had Franz starting at small forward. And the fact he played 32 minutes in the first game, I don't really see who's going to take minutes away from him. I like his upside, only 7% rostered. Now's the time to consider him. Justin Holiday, 26 minutes, had 1 3-pointer, 11 points, 7 rebounds, 4 assists. I like his ability to get you threes and steals. But Chris Duarte is probably the player you want to pick up off of the waiver wire if he's available. Kelly Ubrey played 35 minutes on October 20th, and we've seen Kelly Ubrey help your team in the past. I don't know if he'll get enough minutes. There are a lot of different pieces on that team, similar pieces. Him and PJ Washington, for example, do a lot of the same things, and in fantasy basketball hurt you in a lot of the same areas. So will they cannibalize each other's value? It's a big possibility, but he's only 48% rostered, and this is a guy that used to be drafted pretty early in the past. And any other players? All right, so we see Denny Avdija. He hit a three-pointer, had 8 points, 7 rebounds, 2 steals, 2 blocks. That is very sneaky production there, especially if he plays himself into a consistent role on that team, which I don't see why he would not. He's very skilled and he's a very big player. So his ability to get you steals, to get you blocks, and that sprinkle of threes, I think fits very well with the builds that I tend to promote. So if you're in a deeper format, now might be the time to consider him. He's only 3% rostered. Look how many leagues of mine he is available in. So keep an eye on him. Keep an eye on how many minutes he's getting, because he could be helpful. Cole Anthony played 30 minutes. He absolutely slaughtered your field goal percentage. The 3 turnovers is bleh. But I do like to see the minutes he's getting. And towards the end of last season, we saw him play better. So in 14-team or deeper league, maybe eventually a 12-team league, if he's getting that consistent role and opportunity to produce, he could help your team. Naz Reid, another low-end big man that you could pick up in a deeper format. He only played 19 minutes, but we did hear from Chris Finch that he is willing to play him minutes with Karl Anthony Towns. Excuse my dog, please, I apologize. He can get you threes, he can get you rebounds, he can get you blocks. Those are the main things he's going to help you. And if for whatever reason he ends up playing 25 minutes per game at some point, I think he can produce enough to even help you in a 12-team format because of that ability to get you threes and blocks. Think of someone like Nerlens Noel, minus the threes. They help you in different areas, but Nerlens Noel in the sense that they play few minutes but can produce in those minutes. Gorgie Dieng only played 14 minutes. We mentioned him, but I got to steal 2 blocks. And if he consistently gets 20 minutes, he'd be on my radar because he can produce in limited minutes. Deadman, we discussed as well, only 1% rostered, played 15 minutes, almost had a double-double. Do keep in mind that they ran the Bucks out of the gym, so that might be the reason he got some minutes anyways. But if you're in a deeper format and you have Bam Adebayo, I would consider picking up Dwayne Deadman as a handcuff, because if Bam Adebayo went down, Dwayne Deadman's value would go up significantly. And in a deeper format where there's barely anything to pick up, like in a 20-team league, this guy might still be available and make sense for you to pair him. All right, so we discussed a lot of the top pickups, but what are the top drops happening right now? Ranked 15 originally, only played 16 minutes, and that's what you hate to see. That's why you don't want to drop somebody with value that first night because of a very strong game. We want to see where his minutes shake out. I wouldn't drop him if you have him. For example, I picked him up in some leagues. I have him in my overstated fantasy hoops. That's a 14-team league, so I'm going to hold on to him because even with 14, 15 minutes, he can help. Hopefully he's getting over 20 minutes per game, but we shall see if he's going to be in a timeshare that ends up ruining his value. Otto Porter Jr. only played 18 minutes, and another situation on that team where the inconsistent minutes are leading to players being dropped on that Warriors. Grayson Allen we've discussed. Marcus Morris Sr. played 25 minutes. That's something to keep in mind. If you need a big man who puts small forward production, he doesn't get you traditional big man production, but he'll get you threes, decent field goal percentage, some decent, 6-7 rebounds per game if he's getting enough minutes, and he can get you 14, 15 points if he's getting enough minutes and usage, which the possibility is there with Kawhi Leonard injured. Dorian Finney-Smith, he's a really nice glue guy in deeper formats for his ability to really contribute across the board, and his percentages tend to be decent. He doesn't really hurt you in them, doesn't really help you in them, but we've seen him have the ability to get you rebounds, assists, steals, some blocks. He keeps the turnovers low, and he can get you some threes, and he tends to get consistent playing time for that Mavericks team. Moses Brown played 0 minutes. Doesn't look like he has value at the moment. I would keep an eye on that, though. If at any point he gets the chance to play 20 minutes per game, I think he can get you enough rebounds and blocks to make it worth it. All right. I think we've covered a good amount today. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this new makeover, and I have a few new changes coming soon as well. If you like, please subscribe, share, like, click that bell notification to be alerted to these videos. If you track these throughout the season, I will do my best for you to have a strong team that can weather the storm. Fantasy basketball is a mental game more than anything else. Having the discipline not to drop long-term talent for short-term talent. You want to avoid doing that. You want to avoid trading your really good players because they start the season off rough, for players who may be starting hot, but then later on average out while they're on your team, and then a different team gets to enjoy when your player starts to hit their stride and hit their peak. Please avoid that. Those are the things I try to hone in and put into your brain so that you have a successful 2021-2022 fantasy basketball campaign. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, this is Barack Lesnar of Barack Lesnar Hoops. Have a great day.